it's time to talk about Trump. I want to know if you would vote for him. Now, there's just 5 days left until the US election, and it's been a tight race so far. Now, the polls currently have Kamala Harris slightly in the lead, but the bookies are betting on Donald Trump. Do you? Would you back him? Give us a call and let us know. 0207 862 2222. There's currently where the stats lie. Oh, what's your thoughts on this, Gemma?
I think Trump is a dangerous fascist, and I'm not saying that to be extreme. John Kelly, his longest-serving chief of staff, has called him that. Many Republicans, famous Republicans such as George Conway, have called him that, and he fits all the criteria, just as Franco or Mussolini did. Elitism, othering, the power of the military, wanted to extend that as, wield his power as an extension of his power. Extreme authoritarianism, ultra-nationalism as well. He's talking about detaining people. He's talking about people showing papers in the street. He is a convicted felon 34 times over. He is amoral. He's repugnant as far as I'm concerned. He was on TV only the other week saying that women who have had an abortion should be punished. What are we in the Stone Ages? He is so dangerous because he only cares for himself. He's talking about stripping citizenship from people. He is racist. He has had very racist people speaking at his rallies. The comments about Puerto Rico the other day would have been approved. They'd been on the auto cue and they were disgusting.
They were ad-lib, but yeah.
There have been enough racist comments at those.
Well, Trump himself has made comments about places in Africa and so there have been issues around that sort of language before with Trump.
Yeah, and the kind of criminalising the opposition, talking about mass deportations, persecuting a free press. The fact that with the last election, he said that he'd won it and he didn't, and he incited, violence at the Capitol. The fact he's even standing blows my mind. And I know that millions of people think he's a good idea, and I cannot see it. And we don't know whether he'll get in next week. It's so close. It's too close to call, and that terrifies me.
OK, well, we have to mention Joe Biden in this, apparently calling Trump's voters garbage. Now, the president had been speaking about Trump's Madison Square Garden rally, where a comedian made some unpopular comments about Puerto Rico. Take a look.
I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
That's disgusting.
Now, Biden was then asked about this, and let's see his response.
And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Biden's team then say that he had been talking about the comedian and not Trump supporters in general, but in typical Trump style, his response was to ride around in a garbage truck to his rally in Wisconsin. Tim, what do you make of this?
This
he's dressed up. This particular stunt, is this?
Well, I think this goes to the heart of a lot of what's happened here. Is that it's so easy to describe Trump supporters as racist. The basket of deplorables is how Hillary Clinton described them in the past, garbage or whatever. And, there are controversial aspects about Donald Trump. He is a controversial figure. It's hard to argue with that. But, Gemma just said she can't see why people would back him. And that sort of lack of empathy, that lack of sort of understanding of why do people in America, America is the richest, most culturally advanced, technologically sophisticated country in the world. They aren't stupid, although that's sometimes what we like to give the impression of American people as.
So
they're voting for Trump for a particular reason, lots of reasons. The American border is basically unpoliced. Hundreds of thousands of people under the Democrats, under Kamala Harris, have been coming through the border. In schools, the transgender ideology is imposed on American school children. Cities like San Francisco, New York, Chicago are basically badly policed at the moment. Crime is proliferating. All this and more is happening under the Democrats. It's happening under Biden-Harris. The American people look at Trump. They don't see someone they necessarily like. They know his faults, but they know he is the sort of person who's finally going to do something about all of that, as he did in the past. And so it's some might see it as a deal with the devil. But if you are suffering those kind of social issues that you hate under Kamala Harris and under Joe Biden, you completely, I could completely understand why they want to change.
And that breeds fascism. That is exactly why everything happened leading up to Mussolini and Franco and indeed Hitler in the 30s. And it's taking advantage of people's frustrations and selling them this idea that they'll all be sorted out. How you can support this man knowing that he is a rapist, that, not my words, a judge,
being appealed at the moment, yeah.
And a convicted felon, 34 counts, and there will be more.
Being appealed at the moment.
Racist. He also wants, let's go political then, he wants to put tariffs on, which are going to make the
I notice you haven't said anything about those problems that I just mentioned. They're real problems that are getting worse. They're getting worse under the Democrats.
But the idea that Trump...
racist. It's a tactic that you've tried it again and again and again, and he's being elected again and again because you're not addressing the underlying issues.
Because I feel that, forget their domestic policies, I feel for the world it's much more critical that he doesn't get in. He admires Putin, he has said that. He admires, basically other authoritarians greatly. We can't trust this man with democracy.
I'm going to have to wrap this up. We'll have to see in just a few days' time now who the American public vote for. But indeed, Trump looks like he's doing not too bad as far as the bookies are concerned. Huge thank you to Gemma and Tim for being such a brilliant panel.